Nigerian policemen, soldiers mount roadblocks, harass Abuja residents over 1 million man protests. The protests have been sustained despite the clampdown and killings of harmless protesters by the security agents in many parts of the country under the watch of President Bola Tinubu. Armed policemen and soldiers on Saturday mounted roadblocks within and outside Abuja, the Federal Capital Territory, FCT, subjecting residents and passers-by to untold harassment and humiliation. Nigerians had vowed to stage a 1 million man protest Saturday to mark the end of #EndBadGovernance in Nigeria protests, scheduled between August 1st to 10th. The protests have been sustained despite the clampdown and killings of harmless protesters by the security agents in many parts of the country under the watch of President Bola Tinubu. Checks by Sahara reporters revealed that armed security operatives from the Nigerian police, the Nigerian Army, Department of State Service, DSS, the National Intelligence Agency, NIA, and the Nigerian Security Civil Defense Corps, NSCDC, have taken over the perimeter of the Three Arms Zone which harbored the Presidential Villa, the National Assembly and the Supreme Court. The roads from the police force headquarters, Transcorp Hilton Junction, Nital Junction, and Ministry of Finance were also barricaded with armored personnel tanks restricting both human and vehicular movements in the area. The situation that has led to heavy traffic gridlock, as motorists were asked to use an alternative route while commuters were subjected to unnecessary interrogation by the security agents. Also, residents coming to the city centre from satellite towns were not spared in the encounter with the barricade of Mpape, Kubwa, Kuje, Mararaba roads by gun-toting security operatives. A resident who spoke to Sahara reporters described the development as frustrating, worrisome and undemocratic, stating that he was delayed at the checkpoint beyond necessary. "I was on my way to town today from Mpape, but when I get the express by the Mpape junction, and all the passengers were asked to come down from the vehicle and raise our hands. They said, 'Where are we going? Why are we going to the city centre? What is our mission?' They delayed us before we were asked to go." The Tinubu-led government had on Friday night beefed up the security in Federal Capital Territory, FCT, following the insistence by the protesters not to give up on the struggle in demanding for good governance. Meanwhile, the resilient protesters wielding placards had earlier converged on the Apo Junction in the nation's capital and staged a 1 million man protest. The protesters lamented the hardship facing Nigerians brought by the anti-people's policy of the President Bola Tinubu-led government. They were demanding the reversal of fuel subsidy removal and end to hunger and hardship.
No, you didn't see we are talking to them.
kawai a ba mu tuwo, matsalar mu tuwo ne, tsaro Allah ne mai tsara kowa, a ba mu tuwo kawai shi ne matsalar mu, tsaro Allah ne mai tsara kowa, ba abu da zai faru tsakanin mu da kowa.
Like a force of an empty plane amidst the warning bells of an untold economic hardship, the nationwide protest defied all odds despite the passionate plea from the government. Not even a scary reminder of the NSAS protest, nor the African Spring in Kenya and Sudan could not stop the angry protesters from hitting the streets.
Hunger in the land.
The Moshood Abiola Stadium was the rallying point, with groans of hunger in the land. After a mild misunderstanding arising from a misconception of the FCT High Court order on the restriction of the protest to the confines of the National Stadium and fears of a suspected counter-protest laying siege at the site of some coastal buses, the protesters defied it and hit the streets of Abuja.
No person is talking about their right to protest, but the court order have said that they should protest inside the stadium.
Hey, where are we? Are we not at the National Stadium? We are at the National Stadium. We are in the National Stadium.
Okay, but now, talking about...
And do you know that I've actually not seen the order? I've not seen the order. All I have seen are news reports.
They have expanded in their multitude to press up their demands for the federal government to end bad governance and to put a stop on the fuel subsidy.
End bad government!
What are you saying?
End bad government!
What are you saying?
The protests continued to gather momentum. The protesters then left the stadium, marching through the National Hospital and Diplomatic Zone before heading towards Abuja Central Business District. To bring their demands loud enough to the ears of the government, the next port of call for them was the Eagle Square. But just when they got to the three-armed zone bridge that links Aso Rock Presidential Villa and Eagle Square, the police had to fire tear gas canisters to disperse the protesters and prevent them from entering the Eagle Square. In no time, what appeared a peaceful march turned chaotic as security forces repelled the growing number of protesters, firing canisters continuously while many scampered for safety.
Protesting peacefully. Look at them throwing tear gas at us. We did not do anything. We did not cause any harm. Police are throwing tear gas at us. We are hungry. Tinubu, please come and address us. Come and address.
Protesters vow to reconvene in stronger force until there is a genuine conversation to bring reprieve to the people. Benga Ashiru, Arise News.
Hey!
Thanks for tuning in to Smart Okason TV show. Keep exploring, stay curious, and never stop getting the latest information happening around. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and share to keep the intellect flowing. Until next time, keep sharpening and be smart.